it's interesting how much when you move from, where you were born, the process of starting life again or restarting afresh kind of helps resets you and means that you can do things you wouldn't have done if you were back home. Alfred is similar. Like, he used to crack jokes back in Zimbabwe, but he moved to the States and he's like, oh, I can become a comedian. I mean, he did take some work to get there, but he made it. He's done it. He's doing it. And so he tells the story about when Kevin Hart discovered him and put him on his show on Comedy Central. We talk about, just kind of adjusting to the States. We talk about his dreams of setting up a comedy club back home. We talk about when how Michael Blackson inspired him. But you know what? Let's allow him to tell the story himself. To kick off, man, why did you choose the States? Like, honestly, like.
Well, so here's the thing, man. My mother chose the States for me.
Huh?
Yeah. Initially, when I got out of high school, I wanted to go to South Africa because, I'm from Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
Right next to South Africa. To me, South Africa was our United States of America. I wanted to go there. I was in love with the culture, the music, and my mother was like, hell no. You are not going to South. Ain't nothing going to come out of there. With you playing around, you going to the States. I was like, the States? What? So, I came out here and I was going to university, and man, I just fell in love with the place. Moved to Texas and never left. I've gone to so many different places, so many different cities, but I love Texas. It just kind of felt like home, a home away from home. The weather, the people, it's just so cool. It's the South. So that's how I ended up out here, and I give thanks to my mom. She got me out of there, and here we are.
Yeah. And just seeing that it wasn't your choice, like, what was it? Was it hard? Was it easy? Was it like a situation of like mom says go and then you just get there and fall in love with it instantly? Or did it take a while for you to get to that point where you're like, okay, I think I'm liking this place?
I mean, it's America at the end of the day, right? So as soon as I got out here, at first it was a little bit of an adjustment. Like, man, I'm away from home. I'm away from family. I'm away from friends. Everything that has been taken away just like that. It ain't like one of those things where you're like, you know what? I'm going to see them next weekend. No, bro, you're not.
Yeah.
My mother gave me $700 one-way ticket and say, good luck and don't come back with nothing. African households, go make something out of yourself. So I'm like, man, I'm away from everybody. So now you're starting to figure out how to make new friends. You're in a new environment. So it took a little bit to adjust. Oh, absolutely. You miss home. I was young. I was 19 years old, So you're missing home. You're thinking of everybody. But once you just figured out, okay, I'm here to stay. I got to make it work. Then you just kind of slowly adjust and assimilate. And it's like, okay, so what do I do now? Where do I go? Who do I hang out with? Who are going to be my friends? What lane am I carving for myself? You're morphing into a new person at that point. You're becoming somebody totally different because you're leaving everything behind and you're trying to figure out who is Alfred by himself, So I think a lot of people, they go through that when we come from our homes, coming out here, to the diaspora and learning something new totally,
Yeah.
Especially if you don't have family here, because I didn't have any family. I was by myself,
You mentioned something about adjustments. Like, what was tough? Where were the tough adjustments you had to make?
The food, bro. The food. Look what it did to me, bro. The food messed me up. What? Man, listen. Bro, if I show you my pictures when I was in Africa, man, I was skinnier than you, bro. I was tiny, man. Oh, that is an adjustment that I'll never, the food is crazy, And my mistake was my first job in America. I used to work for a restaurant, a fast food restaurant, Jack in the Box, dude. So if I'm
Oh gosh.
making two burgers, I'm making two for you and one for me. I'm making two for you and one for me. I was eating for my ancestors, bro. I was like this. Hey, listen, back home, back then, you're talking about 24 years ago, right? Buying a Coca-Cola was a treat, right? It's like, ooh, I'm having a Coca-Cola. It's a treat. It's not something that you drink every day like water. But over here, man, you like, hey, let me get a Coke. Hey, let me get another Coke. And you're not realizing this stuff is messing you up, man.
Yeah.
It's messing you up. When they made us used to feel like we have hunger and poverty. No, we had good food. We had organic. Now we're eating all this sugar, and now I look like a broke Professor Clumps, bro. This is oh man, I'm telling you, man. That was the biggest adjustment ever, man. The food, and I'm still getting used to it.
So I'm just curious, like, do you still eat it like you used to eat it before, or like you're like now, oh, okay, now?
Absolutely not. See, in those years, right, when the first 4 years, I don't even think I cooked for myself. In the first 4 years, I'm just eating out because it's like McDonald's for the first. So I probably ate McDonald's for one whole month,
Oh gosh.
So, but now I'm so strict about what I eat, man. I go to the store, I buy, food, I cook. I try to go back and eat our old food from Africa that we grew up eating. I make that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the biggest adjustment. So it took me, I don't know, maybe 5 years to gain the weight, but it's taking me 15 more years to lose.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
it's just a lot, man. It's a lot.
Yeah. That's the thing about weight. I feel like it's so easy to get it on.
Yeah.
But getting it off, you absolutely have to work.
The only way you can lose it is if you start eating cardboard boxes and grass. That's the because even if you say I'm gonna eat an apple, that apple is still gonna make you gain weight, man.
Yeah. Oh gosh. That's so true, honestly. 'Cause, I mean, when I moved here, I kind of got into that, but I think I got out of it pretty early, like because my doctor goes like, "Yo, your blood sugar is going up."
Yeah.
My mom passed away. My mom used to have, she was pre-diabetic. She passed away, and so that kind of triggered me because I was like, "Oh yeah, like you have to take it easy." But then it took me 2 years to get back to the weight I was at before I left Nigeria. Like it took me 2 years, and that's 2 years of working out at least 5 times a week.
Yeah.
Like working out at least 5, like running, lifting, running, lifting, running, lifting. I'm like, the shit is hard. Like the shit is hard.
It is. And see, you had to work out more here than you ever did when you were back home. Because back home, I never worked out. We walked everywhere. Walked, you know what I mean?
You worked out. Like you worked out every day.
Every day. So now, bro, I don't even like to drive to walk to my mailbox. I'm like, shit, that mailbox is far. Let me drive real quick. You drive everywhere, man.
Yeah, it's such a it's so like like two things like they're kind of interrelated that kind of hit me really hard when you move out or when you travel or live in a new place is that one, we're not so different as individuals across the world. The same issues, the same emotions.
Yeah.
But then we are also still very different in how we do things. Like
how we do things.
The paradox is always, it does my head in every single time because the way, like when you talk to, when you're with British people, they do things and you're like, yeah, I would do that.
Right.
But still, just still the way they do it that you're saying, no, I wouldn't do it that way. Like
right. Absolutely. We're the same, but we're different.
Yeah.
Oh, I look at it.
Yeah. And so I want to explore something, which is basically you moved at 19. I feel like at 19, especially in Africa, at 19, a lot of us are still finding ourselves because
Oh yeah.
our parents kind of we live a very coddled life in a way. Like parents are literally in every single thing you do
Hmm.
till you get like 18, 19, 20, 21, sometimes 25. So,
Absolutely.
yeah. So you moved at 19, no family, no
Yeah.
friends, straight to the States. Like, how did you deal with all those emotions that come, like, just starting afresh? Because, like, literally, you're looking for yourself. You're like, who's Alfred?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. You're starting to discover who you are.
yeah,
I honestly think that that's exactly what happened, and what helped me becoming the comedian that I am today. Because I was always funny back home, but I never thought about it as a career. I didn't start comedy in Zimbabwe. I started my comedy career here. Because yet again, now that I am by myself in an environment where I'm not being controlled, being cuddled, being told what to do, what not to do, I discovered myself and I stuck with it. I said, okay, this is what I like.
yeah,
This is what I want to do. The first time I got on that stage, man, I was like, I'm gonna do this. You know, so imagine being in a household, in an African household, coming home to say, I have decided to do comedy.
they're gonna kick you out, man.
What? So the fact that I was by myself, away from all those influences, helped me discover who I am. And not only that, but to make that decision by myself and say, okay, I'm going to pursue this. So I pursued it quietly, for years. I wasn't, really letting anyone know what I was doing. Yeah, I was also, working, also going to school, but I was pursuing this on the side quietly until I made that decision that this is it. So that really helped me a whole lot, because sometimes, coming from where we're from in Africa, it's either you going to school to become an engineer, become a
Doctor,
nurse, a doctor. It's the same way you're Nigerian, Zambian, Zimbabweans. I don't care. That's who you are as Africans. You can't come home like, what, I want to be an actor.
like,
Charlie,
what is wrong with you?
you see what I mean? So being away from that environment helped me a whole lot. And it also pushed me to say, okay, I have to succeed. Because if I don't, then I will never hear the end of it, right?
Yeah,
Like, what did we tell you? We told you. So I had to succeed. Like, ain't no way I'm gonna fail. Because if I do, man,
yeah.
you wouldn't hear the end of it. So
Oh,
that
you
helped me
wouldn't.
a lot. So it helped me become a very independent individual, very strong-minded, and figuring out who I am and saying this is who I'm gonna be. I don't care what anyone else says at this point. You know what I mean? I'm sticking to my guns. So, because sometimes I think about it, like if my family had been here, would I
Be a
had
comedian?
bruh,
I don't think so.
you know?
Like, I don't think so, honestly. Like, because, like, yeah, because the influence is so crazy.
Because trust me, Africa has over 1.5 billion people, but you can count on one hand how many are really great comedians.
Yes.
What does that tell you? Are we not funny? No, we are, but it's just something that is not drilled in us.
Yeah.
It's something that they look at you like, what are you doing?
Why are you doing that? Like, why?
Oh, we need to fast. He has lost his ways. We're going on a 7-day.
Gosh. The African parent.
Absolutely.
But I think you say you moving here made you strong-willed, strong-minded, and all that, and you got to a point where you didn't care.
Hmm.
But I really want to know, like, the first thing you told your mom you were going to be a comedian. What happened?
Well, my mom was always very supportive, right?
Oh, okay.
But in the back of her mind, she was always like, yeah, but don't forget work. Don't forget school. Those kind of things, right?
Mothers.
And yeah, of course. And then, but the first time I I hit the TV screen when I did Comedy Central, on the Kevin Hart show, The Heart of the City. That's where she was now calling all her friends. I told you my son was a superstar. I'm like, wait a minute, you were telling me.
Mama, no, that's not what you said in the text you sent
Absolutely,
to
right?
me.
But just getting that support from family, and it was great. You know what I'm saying? So it's really really awesome. Like just the other day, I had a conversation with my mother, and she's like, "Look, son, I'm proud of you. Keep doing what you're doing.
Oh,
I
yeah.
see what you're doing. I see the shows. I see where you are this time, where you are then. So she keeps up with it. So she's a very very supportive mother, man. And I couldn't have done it without her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, I have a lot of questions to ask, but I want to just kind of stay on this thing you talk. Like, so how did you get discovered by Kevin Hart? Like, how did that happen?
So the comedy family, man, is very close knit, right? Um, we're like a fraternity. I always say comedians put comedians on, meaning comedians will help each other. So some of these shows that I've done all over the world, it wasn't because of an agent or a manager. It was because of other comedians who were like, "Hey, man, you're funny. I know a guy who's doing a show in Jamaica. Let
Oh,
me,
nice.
hey man," and then you get there like, "Hey man, I know a guy who's doing a show in Canada." And that's how these are all comedians. That's how I've been able to work with, the Basket Mouth, the Salvador, all these people all over the world, right? So I was here in Dallas and I was doing, shows out here, and I opened up for a guy, a legend in the game named Rudy Rush. Rudy Rush is from New York, and he was the host of Showtime at the Apollo after Steve Harvey. So he has been on Def Comedy Jam. He's got a great resume. I opened for him one time, and he just liked me and said, "Dude, you're pretty funny. Keep working." And little did I know, Rudy Rush knows comedy. Kevin Hart, firsthand. They're good friends. So apparently Kevin had told him that he's doing shows. He's going to be doing a new show on Comedy Central. So he sent him my tape, and they watched it. And Kevin was like, "Yo, we got to get this. Got to get this kid on this show." So Rudy called me and he said, "Alfred, listen, man, somebody about to call you. I can't tell you who, but they gonna call you." Then I said, "Man, I've heard that before, hey, I'm waiting. And sure enough, Kevin called, man, and I was like, "What?" You know, I actually hung up because I thought it was a joke. I said, "Hey, man, I don't play with my phone, man. And he called again. He said, "Alfred, if you hang up this time, I'm not calling back." I said, "Oh, yeah, I apologize, my brother." you know. So that's how it worked out, man. And I got my television debut on Comedy Central, and everything just kind of changed from there. So it was a true blessing. So shout out to Rudy Rush, shout out to Kevin Hart, man, and so just been out here just getting it.
That is so
Yeah.
amazing.
Crazy. It is absolutely crazy. And Rudy always calls me anyway, talking about, "You still owe me."
Ah,
You still owe me some money, Alfred. Nah,
gosh.
he's cool. He's cool. Yeah, it's a pretty interesting story. I would have never.
Yeah.
And this happened right there where I was almost about to give up too, man, because I'd been doing comedy for about 10 years at that point. I'm like, man, it's not working. It's not getting where I
Yeah.
need it to get. So right there where you're about to quit, something happens. And that was it for me. And it just reignited me, got me fired up. And from there, man, I've done some incredible venues. I've worked with some of the biggest names in the game. I've toured with some of the best, and it's just been an amazing experience. And I'm just still enjoying it, and I'm still growing in the game. There's still so much for me to accomplish right from that.
Oh man, like I'm so proud of you, to be honest. I mean,
Yeah,
just watching your tips, I'm like, gosh, like this dude is going somewhere, and yeah,
yeah,
you're gonna go somewhere.
yeah,
I want to kind of go back to, so I want to like go back to where we were talking before we got to days, which is what struggling, settling adjustments, and all that stuff. And I know you talk a bit about almost giving up on comedy, but while you were kind of finding your way, did you ever regret moving to this place? Like, did you ever regret moving to the West, or was it like, yeah, this is it for me?
nah, I never regretted. I never regretted. I felt like um, it happened the way it happened for a reason. and I just needed to make sure that I found my space, my sphere of influence, my domain. What I understood about this place is the pie is so big, right? And I didn't need the whole pie. I just needed just a piece, just a portion for me to sustain myself, just to carve. Because I understood, the business aspect of it, the economics, the opportunity part of it. That hey, the harder you work, the luckier you're gonna get, and something will definitely break. So I was so grateful that I was in that space. So at the end of the day, I felt like if I just applied myself, no matter what it was, even if this didn't work out, something else would, because there's so many avenues. You might not be a great comedian, but you might be a great writer for a comedy show, or you might be, a great comedic actor, so you just never know where that space would be, but you got to be around, you got to be in that area for you to be able to find out what is it that you're good at when it comes to that field that you've chosen, which for me was comedy as a whole.
Yeah, that's really good advice, and I think it's something people need to kind of take to heart, because I see this thing with and that's why I'm so glad with what you're doing, because I see Africans do this thing a lot, or let me just use Nigerians do this thing a lot, where we come into a place and it feels like we are scared of the value we have inside us, and so what we do is we jump on what's the trend, and then we wonder why at some point it feels like we cap, because the point is that you jumped into something everyone else was doing, not something you want to do.
Right.
Right. And like you said, is like, what's that thing you want to do, and what are the various paths which you can go? Like, I understand we need to feed ourselves, we need to pay bills, because the bills come by the hour.
They're not gonna stop.
Yeah, but like, who says that you can't pay the bills and still try to find a way to build that thing? Do it on the side first and then see what goes. Because I feel like a lot of us give up on who we are because we say to ourselves, I need to survive. And then we spend the rest of our time here surviving. And then we say, oh, I regret it. I hate it. I don't like it. This is happening. All those are just symptoms of something inside you that is not exactly happy, that you haven't fully expressed, because honestly, like, that's why when I saw you, I'm like, yeah, like, it's amazing to see an immigrant who says, this is what I want to do.
Right.
It's not what everyone is doing, but that's what I want to do.
That's true.
And I'm going to find my way through it. And yeah, people who have probably done it and failed along the way. But the point is, I'm just going to go and try. Like, I'm going to try.
Yeah. So, especially now with this golden age of the internet, right? A lot of people would come out and be like, hey man, you gotta do skits, you gotta do these little, deals on the internet. But for me, trying all that, I still had to remember I'm a true stand-up comedian. This is what I do. I get in front of an audience with a microphone and I talk and people laugh. That's what I'm strong at. So how can I capitalize on the internet? Well, let me start putting my work on there. Let me start putting my clips on there while I'm on stage, while I'm doing what I'm really good at. And that has also changed for me. That has really helped me, because people now, they know, like, okay, if we're going to go see this guy at a show, we know what we're getting. There's no doubt or questioning, like, well, I only see him do 15-second skits on the video. Is that going to be the same? Because it's different, right? So I just wanted to make sure that I showcase what I'm good at, and that's standing in front of people and telling my stories and making people laugh. And something that I've been crafting since 2005 when I first got on stage. So,
gosh, wow, like, that's like, how many years now?
I was going on 19 now. Going on 19 years. Yeah, bro. Yeah.
When did you get on Kevin Hart's show? What year was that?
2016. Yeah.
You've put in the work.
Yeah. We've put in the work for sure.
You put in the work, man. You have. Like, man, you deserve it all. I mean, you put in the work.
Oh man. We still got some more to go, man. We still got some more to go. We're still aiming higher,
Yeah. Now, just this question is basically, Like, what do you think America was going to be like when you moved?
What? What? We can talk about that for days. I tell you. So growing up in Zimbabwe, right? We used to watch TV. We had shows. American TV, British TV. Those are the shows that we grew up watching. And the picture that those shows paint is like you would think everybody's rich. You would think everybody got money. You would think there's just money everywhere. Life is amazing. I thought I was going to get to the airport and somebody was just going to hand me a bag of $100 bills. Like, welcome to America. Here you go. Oh, I mean, you just think that everything is, because they painted like paradise almost. You know what I mean? So when you get here and you're like, oh yeah, this is different. You know what I mean? Like people work 3 jobs. What do you mean? Lights get cut off? What? They will take your car if you don't pay for it. What? So just learning all those things, man, it was so different, right? It's a lot, man. It's a lot that we talked about the food,
Mhm.
just they call it the land of the free, right? But clubs close at 2 o'clock. I was used to getting out of the club at 6 o'clock in the morning. The sun is coming up. Like, what do you mean? 2 o'clock we gotta go home. What?
Oh
Just
gosh.
things like that. So yeah, and those are some of the observations that I made. That I talk about, and just make it funny, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those differences are crazy. Like, so how have you managed all these cultural differences? Because, like, I mean, you've been in the States for a while.
Yeah.
Like, so how have you managed the cultural differences? And do you think that Alfred is like, who's Alfred now? Is Alfred American Zimbabwean American, or
I
still
mean,
fully Zimbabwean? Like,
I can leave Africa, but Africa will never leave me. So that's where my foundation is, right? I'm still African to the core, born and raised in Africa, but I've made myself a man in America. So I have the best of both worlds, is what I would say. Yeah, coming out here as a teenager and then growing up and becoming a man and becoming a career person, becoming a family guy, right here. So but not forgetting my roots at the same time. So you just kind of end up finding a way to blend both. Sometimes I'll catch myself like, wow, that was real American of you there, Alfred. And then there's sometimes I'm like, woo, my brother, the Zimbabwe's still there. So you still got both, you still got best of both worlds, man. But
yeah,
yeah, so and I think that's what makes me different. That's what people like. They like something different, and I give them that. Just gotta be authentic with it.
yeah,
I give them the fact that I am African, but I'm also American. At the same time. But I see the world in a different way, and I give them that perspective when I'm on stage.
yeah.
Yeah.
And to be and so when we think about like that person who you've become, I'm just gonna explore something that I feel like immigrants, because I feel like you've just listening to you talk, I feel like you're very comfortable in yourself,
Mhm.
which is a pretty beautiful thing to see. And if we think about like one of the things immigrants don't like to talk about, especially first gen immigrant, which is the survival mentality, which is like we need to survive. And we talked about it a bit in terms of it kind of defines how we approach our careers and lives here.
Sure.
Like, what are your thoughts on that? Have you faced that? Because I feel like it's an existential feeling at the back of our heads that some of us just suppress. Like, have you faced that, or it's just something at the back of your mind that you don't think about?
Yeah, definitely. You face that. So I think that's the reason why it took me 4 or 5 years before I even decided to get on stage, right? Because yet again, you were like, okay, I'm here, I'm in the survival mode. I gotta get a job. I gotta take care of my family back home. I got responsibilities. You drown yourself so much in that to a
Yeah.
point where if you're not careful, you might actually forget, to take time to discover who you are and what you
Yeah.
like, or even just to take time. Some people, work so much they don't even take vacation. Then,
Yeah.
as immigrants, I think things have changed now, but I'm talking about when we came 20 plus years ago, bro, you would not hear anybody talk about, I'm going on vacation for work. Like, what? But now people are doing that. Yeah, we're going out because, things have kind of evolved. It was all work, 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 or school, 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 right? So, but I think being around Americans helped me a whole lot because they're the ones who be like, yo, bro, we're going camping this weekend, bro. You know what I mean? Dude, we're going to the lake, bro. Forget what you're talking about. So you start learning, like, okay, so we can relax, we can do that. And then they would encourage me. They would say, Alfred, you're funny, man. The way you talk all the time and we crack up. Have you thought about getting on stage to doing this? That encouragement, from others, you just opening up your mind because you're in a different place altogether where,
Yeah.
yeah, they work hard, they make money, but they also take time to have fun. And also they definitely believe in their hobbies, some might be, into music, some might be into collecting coins, some might be into just nature, things that, you'll be like,
What
can
is
you
that?
ask an Igbo man, like, is your hobby collecting coins?
Like why? Like
What,
why?
what do you mean catching butterflies? What are you talking about? So you just, when you allow yourself to open your mind like that, then you discover more about yourself. Like, oh, I actually like this. Like, bro, I bought a set of binoculars. I love bird watching.
Are you
Yeah,
serious?
my binoculars in my backyard, watching the birds, bro. Watching the birds.
That's the American Alfred. That's not the Zimbabwe.
Hey, don't judge me now. It's quite nice, okay? It's very relaxing. You should try it. I'm not looking at them or watching them to hunt them. No, just to see them fly. Oh, it's a beautiful thing. So,
My wife was asking someone, you say when you go camping, what do you do?
yeah,
Like, oh, we sit around the fire and eat marshmallows.
yeah.
Like, that's all? Like, yeah. Like, okay.
You never know. I never thought I would like being on the lake on a jet ski. I love it. I love it. So it's just allowing yourself to discover these things, man,
Yeah.
and saying, let's relax. That's why we were put on this earth, is to, yeah, we're supposed to work, but we're supposed to enjoy it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. I think we're rounding up now. I'll just probably I think the last question I have for you is there one thing I should have asked you that I forgot to ask or I didn't ask? Like, is there one thing I should have asked you?
I mean, there's so much. So yeah, go ahead. Feel free. Just ask whatever you want to know.
No, I think maybe it's more like, is there something you think that something you think we haven't talked about that we should talk about?
Okay.
Like,
Well, yeah, man. I mean, I'm just excited about what's in store. Um, I'm excited about the future. I got a lot of tour dates coming, and some really really big things that are going to be coming. I can't mention the network, but we're working on something, and more people will get to know the comedy of Alfred Kainga and who Alfred is, and so I'm just ready for that. I really am. I'm ready for the world to get to know me, to get to know my work, and and we'll take it, to the next level, and just lift up the flag of Zimbabwe and the flag of Africa as a whole, as a continent, and just let them see that we are funny too. We belong in this space as well,
yeah.
and we got a value to add, and I'm just trying to do my part when it comes to that.
Yeah, and that's so beautiful to hear, because I feel like that can be proposed for almost anyone who's kind of saying to themselves, like, do I really belong here? Because
Absolutely.
because it feels like these days immigration has become such a very politicized conversation,
Yeah,
and people start to ask themselves, like, do I really belong here? There's just a ton of stuff going on. But yeah, people actually, you do belong here if you have value to give.
absolutely. And then it also inspires the guys back home. You know, when they see one of their own doing it, it inspires them. You know, I've had so many, you know, guys hit me up in my inbox, my DM, like, hey man, I'm a new comic. I'm from Kenya. I'm from Zimbabwe. I'm from Zambia. Man, I'm inspired when I watch you. You make me believe that I can do it as well, you know, which goes back to me. You know, when I first came here, there was a TV show called Comic View. Comic View used to show different comedians in America who were coming up. And the first time that I saw an African comedian on TV in America was Michael Blackson. You know, back then he was wearing his big dashiki and he was doing his thing. And I was like, whoa, this guy inspired. There was no Instagram, Facebook back then, you know what I mean? But watching him on TV doing his thing inspired me. I was like, man, if he can do it, then I got the courage now to say, I'm like, okay, I could do it too. You know, so when we see our own doing something in a space where we've never been in, it gives you that encouragement. You know, so it only takes that one. So he has no idea how he impacted me. And I have no idea how I've impacted other people. But just by what we do, it goes a long way. You have no idea who it touches. Just like what you're doing. Somebody sees your show and be like, man, if Dorsey can do it, damn it, I can do it too, because I'm more prettier than Dorsey. Yeah. I just had to throw that in there.
I know, man.
So yeah, man. So that's what it is. That's what it is. So we just gotta stay in our lane. Let's do what we're doing, and you know, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it is. It is. And like you said earlier on, like the pie is massive. Like just get a part of the pie, because like you don't need the whole pie.
No, you don't. No, you really don't. You just want that little piece, man. Imagine 1% of 300 million. I mean, come on now. 1%. You're good. You know, you feed your whole village. You don't need to be greedy. You know? So
yeah,
that's all there is to it.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much, man.
This was fun. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Honestly, it was super. I totally enjoyed every minute of this with you, man. Thank you. How funny was that? Like that was a really funny conversation. Thank you so much for getting to this point. If you know someone who finds this useful, please share it with them. And as always, please like, share, subscribe to our Substack, our YouTube channel, follow us on Instagram. You know, and thank you so much, and have a beautiful day. Ciao.